Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Derek, aka No One on YouTube, and we're gonna get into some Black Sabbath, and this time we're gonna do a different singer. It's not Ozzy, and it's not Ronnie James Dio. It's not even oh, who's the other guy that everybody was like telling me to do? Oh, Ian Gillan. So this one is actually Tony Martin, who came in 1987. Now I have. Let me show you what I pulled up on. So at least I got it in my head now how many singers. I don't know why I thought they had this long line of singers, but in all honesty, they've only had a total of six singers. So obviously there was Ozzy, obviously there was Ronnie James Dio for 2 studio albums and then the Live Evil album. Um, Ian Gillan came in from Deep Purple and did the Born Again album with them. So it was one album with Ian Gillan. Then there was Glenn Hughes. I don't know anything about him. And that was in 1986. And he did an album called Seventh Star with them. Then was Ray Gillan. And there's no relation to Ian Gillan because it's spelt differently. Ian Gillan is with an A-N and Ray Gillan is with an E-N. Replaced Hughes for a short time and toured with the band. And then Tony Martin came in. So it looks like, Ian, Glenn, and Ray were just used for like maybe one album a piece. But it said, aside from Ozzy, I think Tony Martin was the longest running Sabbath singer, I guess. And then maybe Ronnie James Dio. So maybe it went Ozzy, as far as time-wise is concerned, Ozzy, Tony Martin, and Ronnie James Dio. But so I'm starting to delve a little more into the post-Ozzy Black Sabbath. And so in this reaction, I'm going to do Headless Cross. And again, this is with Tony Martin. And this is on Tony Iommi's YouTube channel. And it was uploaded just a couple years ago. And this already has 3.9 million views. So I'm really excited to hear a different singer. I'm going to get to the, let me see, which is the one that Ian Gillan did? Okay, the Born Again album. So somebody already requested a song from there, and I'm going to get to it. So this one is with Tony Martin. So I'm assuming that this came out in 1987. Either way, let's go ahead and go. Headless Cross. That sounds so familiar. Did somebody else cover this song and I heard the cover? Dun, 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 dun. And by the way, was that just Geezer Butler that I just saw over here, like in the corner? Now, who's the drummer? Obviously, when Ronnie James Dio left Black Sabbath, he took Vinny Appice with him. So I don't know who this drummer is. Let me see if it says it in the description. Okay, it doesn't. But I think there's a documentary of the post-Ozzy Sabbath eras, and I need to go find that so that I can do that as well. So let me go just back a little bit because I kind of like interrupted that flow. But oh, and I love how like Tony Iommi was saying in the documentary that I saw with him and Ronnie James Dio, how he likes to do those vibratos when he does like his power chords. So I was just kind of like watching him when he was doing it here. So, a little earlier today, I guess because of the algorithm, but they did have a little short video of Tony Iommi and Tony Martin being interviewed about the song Headless Cross. And apparently, the song um, either is about or was inspired by something that happened in their hometown where they live in England. I guess like a long time ago, that there was like a plague or something that killed a lot of people. Um, that and I guess like maybe people were using the cross as like a talisman or something, like maybe thinking that it was going to protect them from the diseases. I'm not quite sure like how that works, but that's basically so when it says like people appointed to die, the screams and the wails of the masses. Yeah, so basically it was from that disease. Now I'm not quite sure which disease that we're talking about. I don't know if this is like the Black Plague that happened like during the Dark Ages, or if this is like a completely different disease. But the minute I saw that, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. I saw that short.
On the sky, born on the air, and the screams and the wails of the masses appointed to die. Listen for the beat and the pound of land to a tune of thunder. Watch as the legions ride again to a fate of death or torture. At the Headless Cross.
Okay, so I love his voice. I mean, he's got a great voice. There's no denying that. There is no denying that. And I think, um, I mean, once you got like Ronnie James Dio with the vocals that he had, I mean, I guess Tony Iommi wanted singers that were, in that same range, right? But I just noticed that because if this is like 1987, I just noticed that that is not Geezer Butler. So really, the only person of Black Sabbath that's in this band is Tony Iommi, just keeping the name Black Sabbath alive. So God bless him for that. Because if I remember correctly, Geezer Butler was in the process of recording No Rest for the Wicked with Ozzy, and that was released in 1988. And that was Ozzy's first album with Zakk Wylde. And Geezer Butler was on that album and then toured with Ozzy for that album as well. So, so I'm thinking that this is like Black Sabbath, aka Tony Iommi, and this version of the band.
How do you feel when the locks refuse the key and the master's calling your name? There's a look of the charm will keep you from harm.
That's it. Does the luck of the charm really keep you from harm? So, like what they were saying, they didn't use the word talisman, but that's what that means. So, I guess whatever disease and whatever time period that they're talking about here, of that disease that killed people, I guess the cross was. I guess people were using it as a talisman. Like they thought, like I don't know, like in church, like people like they kiss the cross and this and that. Like I don't know what the purpose of all of that is, but that's interesting. Does the luck of the charm really keep you from harm? Very interesting.
Charm will keep you from harm. There's a talisman protect you from pain.
I did not know that they were going to use the word talisman. I just happen to know the word, but interesting. So sorry about that, guys.
There's a look of the charm will keep you from harm. There's a talisman protect you from pain. Listen for the beat as the pound of line to a tune of thunder. Watch as the legions ride again to a fate of death or torture.
Tony Iommi, the master. Famous 80s fade out. So I gotta ask if you guys know the answer to this. Did they call it Headless Cross because obviously it's not a person? You know, like in other words, it's calling it like it's an inanimate object. It doesn't have a head, which has eyes and a brain and a mouth and a nose. That is just a thought. I'm not saying that that's what that means. So I'm asking, is that the mentality behind calling it Headless Cross? Because the people were using it as a talisman, they were using it as thinking that it was going to protect them. It's just kind of like, you know, like when you're a kid and you're scared and then you hold the Bible as if the Bible like itself is going to protect you from something. Um and you know, I mean, people are still superstitious to this day, but then there are other things that are just out of habit or tradition, you know, like saying God bless you after you sneeze. But back in the day, like centuries and centuries ago, people were so superstitious. I mean, they thought evil spirits were just everywhere. You know? I mean, I'm not going to get into my beliefs on spirits, but I will say that, you know, well, let's just leave it at that. People were very superstitious back in the day. But anyways, back to the song and the music. I'm gonna have to like look up this version of Sabbath. Um, I mean, I think at this point, I don't know if I necessarily, and this is just me. You guys can have your own opinion, okay? I don't know if I could view this as Black Sabbath because it doesn't even have like any of the other members. Now, when Ronnie James Dio and Vinny Appice was in it, there was Geezer Butler. So you had Tony Iommi and Geezer. It was half Black Sabbath, right? Um, but this one only has like it. Basically, it's the Tony Iommi band is what this was for me. For me, but I get it. Tony Iommi was keeping the name Black Sabbath alive, and you know, I mean, later on, as a matter of fact, let me just look real quickly because Tony Martin left in 1991. Well, hold on a second. And then he came back from 1993 to 1997. Tony Martin was the lead vocalist for Black Sabbath from 1987 to 1991, and again from 1993 to 1997, making him the band's second longest serving vocalist after Ozzy Osbourne. He is known for albums such as The Eternal Idol, Headless Cross, and Cross Purposes. So I'm going to have to look up stuff on Tony Martin because, as a matter of fact, on Wikipedia, let me see. What other bands is he associated with? Formerly of Black Sabbath, Cozy Powell's Hammer, Empire, Phenomena, Force Field, The Company of Snakes, and Blue Murder. So, I mean, he was in a lot of different bands. So I don't know anything about him. If there is a documentary about Tony Martin, let me know. I'll try to look it up and see if there's a documentary on him because I love documentaries, which is why I do a lot of reactions on documentaries on Patreon because, and it doesn't matter whether it's my genre or it's I like the genre or not because you get to learn from other people regardless. So I've done some country western, like I did the reaction on the documentary of Dolly Parton, Johnny Cash. I did a documentary on ABBA, which is a disco group, and I think it's the only disco group I did. um, but I've done like a few on Ozzy, and then of course the other day I did the one on Ronnie James Dio. But I love learning about other people. There's their challenges, their trials, their lows, their highs. What did they overcome? I like to gain inspiration and I like to get their story. So, anyways, let me know if there is. And I hope you guys rocked out with me with this and enjoyed the reaction. If there's anything that I need to know, let me know in the comment section down below. I am going to have the link to the original video in the description, and then Tony Iommi and Black Sabbath's socials in the description as well. And in the description will be all of my socials if you want to follow me. And then there'll be a link also to my Patreon if you guys want to join me up on Patreon. If you want to support the channel and give me a song request, you can use the QR code here for the Buy Me a Coffee, or in a comment down below, you're going to see the links to the PayPal or Buy Me a Coffee. So thank you so much, everybody. Rock on, and I will see you in the next one.